So, let's talk money, yeah? Let's talk money. You know, what I find fascinating is that I am sure, look at you all with your little things in front of you, right? All you little tech heads out there that are changing the world. You're spending all your time doing whatever you can to make this company be the greatest company in the world, which it is. You've done a very good job in doing that. But what have you done for yourselves? What have you done for yourselves with the money that you are making? If I were to ask you how many of you have credit card debt, in fact, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should ask you all to stand. If you have credit card debt, car loan debt, student loan debt, mortgage debt, stand. If you do, stand. Let's see. Stand. You can sit. So here's the problem. I came to talk to you about money, but I can't talk to you about money because you don't have any. So let's start from the beginning and why maybe you should listen to me rather than anybody else and what we can do about your financial situation. Now, as I look out there, it occurs to me that a lot of you may be wondering, why should we be listening to Susie? She's up there, she's seriously rich, what does she know? And by the way, I'm so glad I am. So glad I am. It's like, what does she know about my situation? Well, just because I happen to be in California, I just briefly want to tell you where I got my start. It was here in California, Berkeley, California, on the corner of College and Alcatraz in a little restaurant called the Buttercup Bakery. After spending 4 years at the University of Illinois, in 1973, I came out to Berkeley, California, where I lived in my van on the streets on Hearst Avenue there, because I did not have the money back in 1973 to be able to afford a first and last month deposit on an apartment, and rent was only $200 a month back then. So I was living in my van on the streets for 3 months until I landed my dream job at the Buttercup Bakery, right, for $400 a month. Now, I wasn't just a waitress for $400 a month from 1973 to 1974. Oh, no. I was a waitress making $400 a month from 1973 to 1974, to 1975, to 1976, to 1977, 78, 79, 80, when now I'm essentially 29 years of age. All right, are you doing the math? Are you trying to figure out how old I am right now? I'm about to be 59. I look good, don't I? So anyway, here I am, all those years being a waitress, and I get this idea that I can open up my own restaurant and all I need is $20,000 to do so. So I call up my mother, I ask for $20,000, and she says, Susie, honey, that's more money than we have to our name. We can't give you that kind of money. I go into work the next day. A man by the name of Fred Hasbrook comes in. He said, what's wrong, sunshine? I tell him the story, how I want to open up my own restaurant. Before I know it, I leave there with $50,000 in checks and commitments that all the customers had gathered together and gave me because Fred went throughout the restaurant that day and told them how I was upset because I didn't have enough money to open up my own restaurant, and they backed me. Now I didn't know what to do with that money, and so I'm told to take it down to Merrill Lynch in Oakland and open up an account till I can be helped to open up my own restaurant. I go into the account at Merrill Lynch, and again, to make a very long story short, all $50,000 was lost within 3 months. And it was lost because I had a crooked financial advisor. And I was just listening to what this financial advisor was telling me. Now, I didn't know what to do. So now I thought, I know, I can be a broker, they just make you broker. So I went and I got a job at Merrill Lynch. They hired me simply to fill their women's quota. I walked in with pinstripe pants, red and white, tucked into my white cowboy boots with a blue silk shirt. I thought that would be a good dress because that was my fanciest outfit I had. And they looked at me, and they had never hired a woman before. This was 1980. And the manager said, you know, Susie, I'm going to hire you. I'm going to hire you, but I'm here to tell you, you will be out of here in 6 months because I personally believe women belong barefoot and pregnant. His name was Peter Sansevero. Anyway, so I'm hired there, and as I'm working for Merrill Lynch, I'm reading the code, studying to be a financial advisor, that what my broker did was illegal. He couldn't invest my money in such a way that I could lose it when that money was there to be safe and sound so I can open up my restaurant. So I went in to tell Peter that he had a crook that worked for him, and Peter said to me, Susie, that crook makes us a lot of money. You go down and you sit in your chair and don't you say anything. I went and I sat down in my little cubicle on my little chair, and I thought to myself, well, Peter told me that I would be out of here in 6 months, and this was 4 months into it. He told me that I didn't belong here. Now I could sit there and I could do nothing. But what happened with Randy, who was the financial advisor, and what he did to me wasn't right. Now I was young and I had time to make back that money to pay everybody back. But what if it were your parents or your grandparents or somebody who didn't have the time to make it back? It wasn't right. So right then and there, I decided to do what was right versus what was easy, and I sued Merrill Lynch while I was working for them. Now what was great about that is because I sued them, they couldn't fire me. They couldn't fire me. And 2 years later, I was their number 6 producing broker. They had fired Randy. They gave me back all of my money plus 18% interest because that is what money markets were paying back then. And here we are, everybody. The story begins. So from that, what I took was that it is always better to do what is right versus doing what is easy. When one door closes, another door opens up. And if you are going down one road and you find you are going in the wrong direction, just remember, God permits U-turns. What I found from that is that it's important to understand your goal in life and do what you feel really fulfills you. But what's equally as important is that every single one of you in this room is making money. And by evidence, by the fact that you all stood up when I asked you, or almost all of you, do you have debt? What does that say about what you are doing with the money that you are making? So you are going to have to make a decision, and I hope you make that decision right here and right now to start giving to yourselves, financially speaking, as much as you give of yourselves. You work for a corporation that is one of the, if not the most generous corporation I have ever seen, bar none. Now, I am not just saying that because I'm standing here at Google. Trust me, if I did not like their benefits program, I would be saying it right here, because I don't care. I only care about one thing. I care about you and what you're doing with your money. My career has been made not by telling millionaires what to invest in, not by going after those that are really affluent, but by helping America, who doesn't have a pot to pee in, to create something for themselves and their family and therefore the world. So you are my audience. You are the ones that I care about. Because of you, I'm that wealthy woman. Got that? So we have to start with, what do you have here that you're not taking advantage of? All I can tell you is that every single one of you in this room have the opportunity to be investing in your 401k plan. Your 401k plan, as you know, matches dollar for dollar up to $3,000 of what you put in, 50 cents up to $8,250 if you don't have an emergency fund. I don't care if you don't have any money whatsoever. If you are not taking advantage of your 401k, you are making one of the biggest mistakes out there. The most important ingredient in any financial freedom recipe is time. When you have time on your side, then you have the ability to amass incredible amounts of wealth. Let me give you an example. You're 25 years of age. You start putting $100 a month away right now into this account. And you do so every single month until you are 65 years of age. For 40 years. With normal market returns, when everything turns back to normal again, do you know at the age of 65 you would have $1 million? But let's say you say to yourself, it's fine, I'm still young. I don't want to put my money away right now. I want to wait. What difference can it make if I wait until I'm 35? If you wait till you're 35, $100 a month is only $1,200 a year. $1,200 a year for 10 years is only $12,000. What difference can it make? Well, let me tell you, if you start at 35 rather than 25, when you are 65 years of age, you will have only $300,000. Those 10 years cost you $700,000, and that is at $100 a month. Do it at $200 a month, $300 a month. And we are talking about serious sums of money, everybody. Are you with me here? So if you are not contributing to your 401k plan, you are making a serious mistake. The sooner you begin, the better. However, now listen to me closely. Google, like most corporations, only contribute up to that point of your match that I told you, the $3,000 or the $8,250. The next question then becomes, after the point of the match, where Google no longer matches your contribution, what should you be doing? Here is your plan of action. After the point of the match, if you have credit card debt, or you do not have at least an 8-month emergency fund, you should stop contributing to your 401k after the point of the match and first establish an 8-month emergency fund for yourself. Why? What have we just gone through, everybody? What have you just seen in the years 2008, 2009, and if you think it's going to get a whole lot better, 2010, 2011, and 2012, I'm here to tell you I don't think so. I think you will see that the economy is starting to recover. We obviously did not go off the deep end, but that came at an incredible price. That came at deficits that are beyond our wildest imagination. And while everybody can say that these deficits, it's all right, they don't have to be paid back, you all stood when I asked you if you had debt. Who is going to pay your debt back for you? Is some magical entity going to drop down from the skies and say, here, I'll take care of your mortgage. Here, I'll take care of your credit card debt. Here, I'll take care of your student loan debt. You are going to have to do it. And what happens to you when you don't make those payments? Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Creditors coming after you, everybody wanting your money, the credit card company shutting you down, everybody foreclosing on your homes, everybody taking your cars away from you. You have got to stay responsible, do you not, to the money that you owe. You are the ones who have to keep your budgets in balance. The same is true with the United States government. And somehow this is going to come to play for all of us. The way it's going to come to play will be in increased taxes. Everybody has been told that, and it's going to happen. Therefore, how do you make a plan so that you can make more out of less money? First plan has to be, listen, this is a great company. This is a company that I hope continues to expand and we never experience layoffs, but it's not just about this company. What if you get sick? What if you become ill? What if you can't work? You need at least an 8-month emergency fund, 8 months of expenses that you know you have to pay if you don't have a paycheck coming in, so that you will be okay. After the 8-month emergency fund, you now need to start paying down your credit card debt. Why does Susie Orman want you to have an emergency fund before you're paying off credit card debt? I'll tell you why. The banks, especially the large banks, if you happen to have an account with Chase, Citi, Bank of America, you may love that you're banking with them. I don't like those banks. I don't like those banks at all. Because when it comes to credit cards, even if you have been on time, even if you have never gone over your credit limits, even if you have an incredible FICO score or a credit score, do you know that they have increased your interest rates almost across the board to 29.99%? They have increased the minimum payments that you're able to make from 2% to 5%. And in many cases, when you pay off your credit card debt, they are shutting down your credit altogether. So here's the question. You're being good citizens, you pay down your credit card debt, and now these companies close your credit cards because they no longer want to give anybody credit. At the same time, you no longer have a paycheck coming in because maybe you've gotten ill or whatever's happened to you. How are you going to eat? How are you going to function? You don't have any credit cards anymore to be able to do cash advances because today the credit industry has changed. So here's my advice to you. If you happen to have a credit card at one of those big banks, you need to start taking your power back, people. You need to start saying to the financial institutions in the United States of America that you deserve to be respected. You deserve to get more out of the money than you are getting. One way you can do that is you should open up a credit card at a credit union. By law, federally chartered credit unions cannot charge you more than 18% interest on your credit cards. If you want to find a good credit union credit card, you should all go to creditcardconnection.org. It is the only legitimate site out there that if you put in your zip code, up will come the credit unions close to your zip code that you can join to possibly do a balance transfer to. Many of these other sites that list credit unions, the credit unions pay to be on those sites. So there's a lot of hocus pocus behind those sites, so be very careful as to where you get your information. By the way, as I'm talking, if you have any questions whatsoever, go up to those microphones and ask them as I'm speaking. Because the truth is, good luck finding another Susie Orman that's going to stand up here and talk to you that doesn't want anything from you. I don't have an account to sell you. I don't have, I don't want you as my clients. I only want you to be the financially free people that you deserve to be. So, let's summarize here. If you have a credit card at one of those major banks and you're going to keep it there, then you are far better off having an 8-month emergency fund before you pay off that credit card debt. If, however, you are smart and you do a balance transfer to a good credit union, and not all credit unions are good, then after the match in your 401k, then pay down your credit card debt if it's at a credit union, and then your 8-month emergency fund. If you're going to stay at a major bank, 8-month emergency fund, then pay down your credit cards. Yes?
How do you feel about a home equity line of credit versus that cash cushion of 8 months emergency?
You have got to be so seriously careful right now with a home equity line of credit, I cannot tell you. And the reason is this: home equity lines of credit are secured by the equity in your home, if you even have any equity left in your home. The interest rate on your home equity line of credit is attached to being 1 or 2% above the prime rate. The prime rate is always 3% above the Fed funds rate. Now, currently, the Fed funds rate is at 0. So home equity lines of credit are great. I can tell you there will come a time when the Fed funds rate starts to go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. We saw that happen a few years ago when the Fed funds rate was at like 1%, and all of a sudden it goes up to 5.5%. And now home equity lines of credit are 9, 10, 11% interest. And that happened, and people freaked. So I would not at this point in time have a home equity line of credit that I am using. I would want to find another way. If you need money or whatever, I would rather see you at this point, because as of yesterday, the feds have decided that they are no longer going to be buying mortgage-backed securities. What that means to all of you is that you are going to probably see interest rates for real estate increase by about 1%. So the low interest rates that you have been enjoying on mortgages, if you're about to buy, you did buy, that's about to go from 5, 5.5 to 6. So that will affect home equity lines of credit as well. So I would rather see you refinance your house if you have to. Lock in the low interest rates today. Take the money out, lock that in. Do you see? And then not be subjected if you need that money. Right? Yes.
Hi. First, I want to say, hey, girlfriend.
Hey, girlfriend.
And
He obviously watches the Susie Orman show.
I wanted to ask about mortgage. So my husband and I have a pretty large mortgage. It kind of makes us nervous. But our Smith-Barney advisor and our accountant say, don't pay down the mortgage because you're making more in investments, so you should keep the money there.
Stop.
That's why I'm asking.
Did he make you in the year 2008? Did he make you money on your investments? Or did he, like most people? Now, if he did, then let's tell every single person in this room his name, including me, and let's go open an account with him. But he says, Smith Barney broker, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There is no way that he made you money unless he had you in cash. And he couldn't have you in cash, because if he had you in cash, he couldn't make a living. And he couldn't pay his mortgage. Do you understand? So you have a financial advisor telling you, oh no, you can make it far more in the market. You're down 40%. Right. Remember, when something goes from 100 to 50, that's a 50% decline. For something to go from 50 back to 100, that's a 100% increase. So even though the markets went up since March about 62%, and now it's pulled back a little, you're still down. Because were you continuing to dollar cost average? Were you doing those things? Maybe yes, maybe no. And I can tell you, he has you in loaded mutual funds. Right? Does he have you in mutual funds?
Some.
Some?
Yeah.
So, but here's the bottom line. You stood up and you said to me, your mortgage makes you nervous.
Yes.
It makes you nervous. A good financial advisor would say, it makes her nervous. What's the goal of money, everybody? It's not to make you nervous. It's so that you can sleep well at night. So you can be the powerful people that you're meant to be. So that you can work here with all the power. And when your supervisors or your bosses see that you're coming to work with all this power, guess what happens? You get a job promotion. You get a pay raise. If you're somebody who's constantly nervous and you're freaked out because you don't have enough money to pay your bills, do you think your bosses can't feel that? Of course they do, and that keeps you from making the money that you want to make. So I would tell you that, listen, if you are going to own this home for the rest of your life, are you?
Probably for the next 20 years.
All right. If you want to pay down your mortgage and you want to get rid of that mortgage payment, you should absolutely do so. I do not know one wealthy person who has a mortgage on their home. I have 5 homes, and if I can't write a check for one, I do not buy it. And I have all these accountants that say, but Susie, you're not getting the tax write-off. You spend $1 to save 30 cents, you're still spending 70 cents to save that 30 cents. I want to know in my life that if you all stop buying my books, you all stop watching the Susie Orman show, you all stop wanting to even look at my little face anymore, I personally don't care, people. I just don't care, because my life won't change. And that makes me more powerful, which attracts more people to me. I would think twice. I would think twice about you having this particular financial advisor as your financial advisor.
Thanks, Susie.
Anytime, girlfriend. Yes, over there.